was a good question. Yes. So I think I'm going to shift us just a tad bit. So we talked a lot about, friends, and we talked about like who do we reach out to in our toolbox and things like that. So I want to kind of stay in that lane about self-care. I think Lakesha mentioned it earlier about self-care, but what are some ways a superwoman can incorporate self-care? Because I don't think Scarlett was doing any of that. She was just kind of a robot going through the motions of her daily life. But what does that self-care piece look like?
Saying no. No is a complete sentence. I learned that. I mean, I learned it before, but this year, I think the world taught us how to say no, right? What happened? Like, it just like, pause, pump your brakes. And everybody had to stop and slow down, right? And so I think in this time, I've probably learned what self-care looks like the most. I led a real talk with some of the young ladies that I work with, and one of them, I learned so much from them, was just like, one of the topics she wanted to talk about was just like, what it feels like to spend this much time with yourself, right? And of course, like for those of us that have, spouses, that have children, right? Like we in the house with them too, but it is for the first time, like you're really getting to spend a lot of time with yourself. And so I think just like being able to say no, I think this time, like I said, has really taught me how to say no. Like, nope, I'm at home. I got a 9-month-old baby. I can't do it. Nope, ain't gonna happen. Can't be there. And like learning that and being okay with that. Therapy, talking to people, and just really taking that time to figure out what it is that works for me. So journaling, meditating, praying, I think are all the things that I've realized are like the tools that work for me, and just utilizing them, going back to that ideal of that story or that lie, right? Like when those things rush in, when life just doesn't feel good, or sometimes it's not the lie, it's heavy. The world is heavy right now, right? The world is heavy today after what happened yesterday and the day before. So, it's like some of that stuff isn't a lie. Some of this stuff that we're dealing with is real life issues, right? Like they killing our men and they killing us. And, like that's real. That's not a lie. It's a real thing. And I'm angry because of it. And so knowing what I need in that time, getting off of the Zoom call with, I'm sorry, I'm being very transparent to some white folks because I just can't do it right now. Like we have to be okay with that, and we have to be okay letting people know that. I think we live in a time where people know, like, I need a mental health day. That's a real thing. Like, if you deny me this, you might want to think about how that's going to come back on you. And so I think luckily we're in a world where we can be a little more vulnerable. We ain't got to let everybody know what's going on, but just saying like, hey, I'm not good today.
Yeah.
I don't feel good. What's going on in the world don't sit right in my spirit. I still got to raise my child and cook and clean. Like, so I just can't do it today. And I think that is the biggest part of self-care, especially for us super women, to just say no and to sit still, sit our butts down somewhere, for real.
For real. And to be okay with that. And I love how you said that, that's okay. And no is a complete sentence.
Yeah. So I don't have to give you a reason.
Nope.
No, period.
It's a no for me, dog.
I think mine, it came up earlier. I heard boundaries. Like that's self-care. Absolutely. Setting boundaries and sticking to them and communicating your boundaries to other people. I think right now in just this like virtual working situation that a lot of us are in, boundaries have gotten real fuzzy. And you can be working from, 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock, or people are still pinging you at, 6, 7 o'clock or whatever else, because we're all, at the computer or whatever else for longer. And so I think a big part of self-care is like really setting boundaries and communicating them. But the thing for me personally that I had to learn how to do was put myself at the top of my list. So I started realizing that I would make lists and I would say like, these are all the things that I have to do. And I would put my thing, like I'm going to get a pedicure, or I'm going to read this book or relax. But that would be at the bottom of the list because I needed to get all of these things done for other people. And by the time I got to the bottom of the list, I was always tired. So whatever that thing was for me never happened. And so I had to say for me, self-care is I'm gonna do the thing for me first. So before I go run these kids all around town and, you know, buy all these things for them and do all of this stuff for everyone else. I'm actually going to do something nice for myself first. And then we'll see how much of this other stuff I still have enough energy to get done. And what doesn't get done, they'll be okay. But I think just putting yourself at the top is huge.
That was good. Yes. That mommy guilt is real. I feel you.
So real.
For me, go ahead, Lakesha.
Both jumping in. I totally agree. You can do a million things, and then the one thing you have for yourself will not make the cut. Learning to make sure that makes the cut. Based on this pandemic, being at home, working remotely partial of the time, but then becoming a teacher, I raise my hand to all the teachers. I greatly appreciate all of them, because becoming a high school and a middle school teacher, I did not plan to put that on my CV at all. So just balancing that, but still, like you said, adhering to work and knowing that when 5 o'clock come, I need to set some type of alarm so I can start shutting that down, because if not, I don't run my work into my safe space. And it's so easy for you to look and it's 7 o'clock. Like, no, I need to be able to shut down and do something for me, because I still am making sure the kids eat, doing this, paying bills. Like, let me get a chance to read a book or go sit on my porch or do something that would help fill my cup again. But it's so easy to get lost in the shuffle. So just putting yourself first and not feeling bad. I mean, as a mom, I know times I felt guilty when I said, okay, I'm gonna go to grad school. And I was like, oh, I feel bad. I'm gonna be missing a couple of nights out of the week to have dinner with my sons. And how are they gonna feel? I don't want this to be a traumatic experience in their life because their mom was not there 2 days out of the week. And I had to like pull myself together and say, it's okay. Like, it's okay for me to pour in and support other people, then also make sure I do things that make me happy. Because if I don't do those things, eventually pressure busts pipes and your smile will be a frown, and people, instead of seeing you come in and they're gonna be, hey, want to give you the air hugs, now they're gonna be running the opposite way. So just navigating that and just being okay with giving yourself some self-time, whatever that may look like for you.
I totally agree with what everybody said. I chase joy. I know personally, joy is my secret weapon. And every day, what that chase joy looks like is very different. I deflect negativity, negative conversation, negative energy, negative posts, negative, like I don't have time for that. And unapologetically so. Girl, you, bye. Like, that all happens once. You don't call me back because you're not going to get what you thought you was going to get. So you like, I ain't calling her because she, good job, got it. Chasing joy may be me having dinner on the patio one day. I remember when we got into like maybe 30 days of this pandemic, I was just stir crazy. I'm used to hopping on an airplane whenever I want to. Not being able to fly and chase warm weather was getting to me. And so finally my husband said, hey, what do you want to do? I said, I just need something that's going to give me energy. We hopped in the car and drove to Chicago to get a home run in pizza and go down Lakeshore Drive so I could see the skyline, because that's where I grew up and that skyline gives me energy. But, was that a waste of gas? And could we have gotten pizza closer? Yeah, but his wife's head was spinning around 3 times. So being the smart man that he is, he understood that for me to have joy was to take that ride. So I chase joy, and sometimes it's inconvenient and sometimes it's shutting people down when they need me, but I am no good when I'm empty. And I don't apologize for that, because when you give out of your emptiness, it hurts. You're hurting yourself. You're not at your best and you're doing damage. You're burning up the gears. So chasing joy is my self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say in one of the comments, Kristen, which is my business partners on here, stated protecting your peace by all means necessary. It's okay to protect yourself. Like, it's okay, but again, giving ourselves permission for the things that we are supposedly be the norm to do is not the norm based on whatever traumatic experience that you experience or whatever those negative thoughts that come in your head. Like, fighting that battle is not easy, but again, it's okay for you to take time out for yourself. And it's okay to say no. Like Ebony said, no is a complete sentence. I have learned to use no very well. And I feel so much better. And I feel better when I'm able to help people give themselves permission to say no. Because it's a tool that I use. Because it's kind of hard to give people tools that you ain't tried out. Like that ain't the best option. You want to feel comfortable when you give it. Like, it's okay to say no. I'm declining it. Why you can't come? You need me to buy it? I don't need you to buy no ticket. No, I'm staying home. Right. And being okay with that. In the past, like, man, I don't want to go to this event. I'm dreading going to this meeting. No, if it's not mandatory and I don't want to do it, I'm giving myself permission to be comfortable and be in environments that does not trigger me to say no and stay on my porch or in my room where I'm comfortable instead of me doing something that I'm not comfortable with that can cause a whole nother situation. So it's okay to say no and protect your peace by all means necessary.
Right. Amen. And I just want to add in that Lakesha says, schedule yourself on your calendar and don't cancel you. And I am a big fan of that. I do that all the time. And my brother, he will call me and be like, what you doing? And I'll be like, why? It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Because see, what you don't understand is that I'm not doing what you think that you want me to do unless you tell me what it is. And then I will decide if I'm doing it. So it really don't matter what I'm doing. It matters what you're asking me to do. Because it might be no if I'm doing nothing. So let's get clear on that. So I like that. Put it in your calendar. And then Bridget says to, pay attention to how it makes you feel. And before I talked to a woman who said, ask yourself, how does this feel in my body? And ever since she told me that, things that don't feel good in my body, it means it doesn't serve me. It means on some level, mind, body, soul, spirit, I don't know what level, it don't matter what level, but I know on some level, it is not serving me and that it needs to be a no.
Absolutely. Somebody else had a really good comment, the iPhone user. I'm sorry, we don't know who you are, but hey, they said give yourself 10% of your time. You have to sow into you. That's the word. You absolutely do. And that alludes to also what Lakesha said by scheduling time for you and to be okay with that. And if people ain't okay with that, that's on them. That don't got nothing to do with you. So do what's best for you.
We have another portion because we only have about 5 minutes. It's called the to-go box, and it's what are we taking back with us? Yeah. So again, we started with the toast, we broke bread, we a tip, which is usually whoever the sponsor is, and then we jump right into tea time with you guys, and then we do the to-go box. That is what are we going to take back with us? And so I want to frame that question with the thought of healing evokes restoration, because what La'Ketta is asking us to do is to keep her. And she defines her as healing evokes restoration. What are we going to take back to keep her?
Okay. Everybody leaned in at the same time, like, huh?
Y'all should
right.
I think the conversation today was awesome. That there was enough transparency to say, to keep her, be honest when she's not okay. And don't stay there. Don't be ashamed of not being okay. Because truth be told, those around you see you unraveling. They may not say anything, but it's noticeable. It's noticeable that your head is spinning around 3 times a day. So be okay getting the help you need, asking for help, and it doesn't make you weak. This life was not meant to be lived alone. We were not meant to achieve everything as a solo act. That's just not the divine design. And so be okay needing others to get to be your best self.
That's good. I think for me, there were so many nuggets in this, but I think the transparency, like I've never really had a huge problem with being transparent. And I can say what's wrong. I can say what I'm going through. But the step further than that is like saying what I need and being able to articulate, like force myself to articulate that. Like sometimes I can't even get it together in my head to be able to tell someone else what I need or what they can do. Like I've been in relationships before and I've been like, I just need to vent. I don't want you to fix it. I don't want you to do anything. I just need to vent. And the truth is, like, that's my cop out. That's not me trying to really think through what I need so that I can ask for help. And so this conversation for me, like, and thinking about her, like getting to the restoration piece, actually healing and getting to restoration isn't just me being transparent and telling a story. Like, transparency without some type of change, that what is that doing? How is that helping anyone? How is that helping me? So I think for me, it's pushing myself to go beyond just being transparent and actually think about, what do I need to heal? What do I need to really be able to feel restored? And how can I find the right people to give that information to ask for help?
Yeah, that was awesome. So I'm gonna piggyback off of that. But first, I just want to thank La'Ketta and Mental Health of America, Wisconsin for this platform. This was amazing. Truly appreciated the conversation with all of you, and definitely plenty of nuggets, like lots of things. And I think that's, the beauty and the journey, right? Is it's an everlasting thing, right? So we need this all the time. We need these conversations all the time. So it's not like this one-stop shop. I got everything now. I don't need any more. Next week we might need to have another conversation. So thank you for the dialogue. And I think piggybacking off of Lydia, I think a lot of times we are not, we think about Scarlett, right? And that idea that nobody ever asked her if she was okay, or that idea, like, a lot of times people don't stop to ask us, are we okay? But then to Lydia's point, like, I don't think we've thought about what we need, because a lot of times that's not the motive of people, right? Like, people are like, oh, what's wrong with you today? Or how are you? And we've gotten so used to it being like, oh, I'm okay. But I think a lot of times that's that protective factor, because I don't know what I need sometimes. And I think because you haven't asked me. And, talking about coaching, I have a coach right now, so I'm really like loving this journey of coaching. But that is one thing when I think of work. Like, she came to me and she was like, she gave me homework, and that was it. She was like, I need you to think about what you need from da 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 da. And I'm just like, what? I don't know. Like, I don't know what I do. Like, what do you need to thrive in this space? What do you need? And I was just sitting there like, oh, okay. Now I have to sit down and actually write it out. And I think the power in that is, like, now that I know what I need, I can move through this situation so much better than I have, and I won't stress myself out, and I won't be trying to figure out why I'm on this call and I don't understand what's going on, because I'm going to articulate, this is what I need, and now I know what I need so that I can move in that same in relationship. A lot of times we move in our relationships, our marriages, or, our relationships, and we're thinking like, that person knows what I need, they my spouse, right? But a lot of times, if we haven't articulated it, they don't know what we need either. So we're both kind of just, passing on hurt or passing on whatever, and not really getting to that point of healing. And so I think, the toolbox is essential, and just really working towards healing. I've learned that it's not about getting over something, it's about getting through something. And when I learned that, I moved differently. I was trying to get over what happened to me as a child, but that's never going away. So how can I get through it? How can I build that toolbox once again, so that when it does come up, when I do get that feeling, I can now tackle it with something healthy and with something that's going to allow me to move forward in a beneficial way. So I would say that's what I would leave with. And also, La'Ketta would be mad at me if I didn't say anything. I wrote a book, so, support me. It's called Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry. That's something we don't do a lot, right? We don't promote ourselves. We don't talk about ourselves. And so yeah, the world we're living in today, between COVID-19, between all of the things we see in the news, we need to reiterate those messages to our Black boys, our Black men, our Black women, our brown, everybody, right? We need to reiterate it to everybody, but especially people of color. So that would be what I would leave you on.
Okay, I would ask one more thing, because don't you have an event coming up?
Oh, yeah, that too. So I wrote a book called Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry. And tomorrow I'm hosting the first ever discussion series called Moms, Black Boys, and Mental Health. And so it's me and 3 other mothers kind of talking about our journey of raising Black boys in the world that we live in today, as well as dealing with our own mental health, as well as teaching them how to handle, their own emotional wellness and mental health as well. And Lakesha will be joining us as well for that tomorrow.
Awesome. Yes.
And how can
How can they join?
Oh, Facebook Live. So same platform, Zoom, Facebook Live. All of the information is on my Facebook, my Instagram, and I also will be sending out an e-blast. So if you have the time, please visit my website. I'll put it in the chat. It's dearblackboycry.com. You can subscribe on there, and then you'll get the e-blast when I send it out tomorrow with all of the information. But if you have Facebook, same way, just click Dear Black Boy It's Okay to Cry Facebook page or my Facebook page, and you can view it live, or there will be a Zoom link where you can watch it via Zoom as well, for those of you that don't have it.
Perfect. And so, Lakesha, what are you going to do to keep her?
So what was that?
What are you going to do? What is going to go in your to-go box? How are you going to keep her?
For me, which I have learned and kind of continue to remind myself to do, it's okay to take time for me, but then I have to also be okay with doing the work. So just knowing that whatever outcome I want, I'm gonna have to put something into it. So ensuring that I pull myself up by my bootstraps and put in the work, whether it's the time or pushing back or saying no, whatever that may be, putting in the work. And we all have a journey, we all have goals, but sometimes putting in that work gets missed. So for healing, put in that work, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's the therapist, the coach, journaling, finding other self-care measures, put in the work to work on you, because the best investment you can make is yourself. So do the work. And also I want to throw out to me and my owner, Kristen Walker, my business partner, she's still on here too. We have a podcast called Mill & Magic we just started. So go to Facebook and subscribe to us as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Family, congrats.
That's awesome. Okay.
Well, this is really good. So on behalf of Brunch With Besties Podcast, we definitely thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you, La'Ketta. Where did she go? There she is. La'Ketta, do you have any final remarks you want to say? Baby!
You're on mute.
You're on mute, baby.
I just wanted to say thank every woman. There were some men who joined us tonight. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. The truth is that to write this piece, I had to go through the journey. So it triggered a lot of things for me writing this piece. People say, what does Keytalife mean? I write what I live. And so it was very, I was very humbled to have the opportunity to have the 75 women who are interviewed to be a part of the process. I was grateful for Mental Health of America for allowing us to use art, but I'm so thankful for my village and my circle who can see me when I'm not okay. So I'm just, again, grateful. Thank you for coming out, and please support the other women and what they're doing. I will be on with Ebony tomorrow. Really excited about that. Lakesha, I'm going to check out your podcast, and Brunch with Besties. I always listen to you. So continue to support, and we're stronger together.
For sure. Absolutely. All right. So we want to end this and wrap this up like we always do on our show. So if you listen to our show, so thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties Podcast. Until next time, peace.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye. Hey, Dex.
I thought Martina would appreciate things today.
Hey, Dex.
Baby.